A spiritual awakening is mandatory.
Life can be a contradiction.
But it doesn't have to be a lie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the premiere episode of Contradiction. Today, I will be joined by Roxy Lopez, as I will be throughout the entire series. Roxy Lopez and I came together and decided that we wanted to do something very special, something that spoke about the issues facing humanity at this time, whether they be spiritual or activist-oriented, as well as offering solutions for everything that we will be speaking of. Today we're going to be starting this first episode with, are we ready for fifth density? And in just a moment we're going to bring Roxy Lopez on. And for those of you that do not know, Roxy Lopez is a radio host on Revolution Radio and has worked with the G.I.C. many times before. So without further ado, welcome Roxy Lopez. Hi, Roxy.
Hi, Bernard. It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for having me. This has been a trial of sweat and tears for us for the last several months, and we have worked our buns off to do this. So as we discussed earlier, Roxy, we thought that the first episode should be, are we ready for fifth density? Now, what is fifth density?
Well, there's a lot of conjecture about it as far as what it means to us as human beings. And in light of evolution, there are, and here's where contradiction is playing out. And that's what this series is going to be all about, the contradictions that we face in our lives. And this is from my experience, your experience, Bernard, and of course, the collective experience. This is stuff that you're going to be able to relate to on a very simple core base. That's the intention of Contradiction, the whole series. So I want to premise everything that I say with that we all live in contradiction. Fifth density would mean, we live in all heard of this. We live in density, a type of density, a type of dimension. We all know that already. And we can see that in everything. We can see it play out. A good example is, do you have people in your life that you try to convey certain things to that you've experienced that you know worked for you, yet the other person doesn't have any clue as to what you're talking about? This is the gravitation towards some of us, sort of opening up, doing the inside job, if you will, and really getting to know oneself. I had James Gilliland on my show last evening, and he was saying doing the inside job was really important. And when we had troubles in our lives, to go inside ourselves and look for those answers, which is very hard to do, because I posed the question last night, what do you do when you're faced with something that's so insane or so hurtful? You know what I mean? A pain, a divorce, a child got hurt, an animal died, whatever it may be that day that really knocked you off your feet. The first thing that I want to do is I want to get out of my body because of the pain that I'm feeling, because I'm so confused and hurt and afraid. And I'm serious. I've been through this so much in 2013. It's unbelievable. That's why I can completely share it to you from my own experience. Fifth dimension, fifth density. We are growing into the world of telepathy. Do you ever get a phone call, but 2 minutes before that phone rang, you thought of that person, and then the phone rang and you say, I was just thinking about you? This is what I'm talking about. These are not coincidences. Or that you dream about somebody and you wake up and they call, or you wake up and you're thinking about them and you call them and they say, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you. We can go on and on with the examples. But I was speaking to a woman who was expressing to me that what it is we are not all ready for this. I certainly am not ready for fifth density. It's very confusing. I'll be honest with you. I practice what I know. See, that's the other thing, this paradigm shift. At the same time, I like knowing certain things. I like growing into this world of telepathy, of being able to communicate through just thinking our thoughts and thinking and wishing good thoughts on people and sending love to people who need it or hugs to people who need it. The fact of the matter is the energy is so heavy. It really is. It's stirring us up. It's bringing up our past. It's bringing up things that we never resolved in our life. And with that in mind, who wants, I mean, there's a reason why you didn't face that back then, right? So when it comes back up to the surface, there we are in that place all over again. Will we be able to get through it? You will. We all do it at our own pace. That's what it is. I do it at my pace. You do it at your pace. The good news is that we're able to reach out to one another. I was talking to Mia Ferroletto this morning in Canada. She's in Canada right now, and she was saying that she has absolutely come to the realization over and over again that she must connect and work with like minds. It's just imperative to do now because it's so distracting to have people on your team or whatever when you're trying to get something done in the world, whatever that may be, where there's people that in your life that just don't get it and they become a distraction. Doesn't mean we don't love them. Here's the contradiction in that as well. If we are to evolve, if we are to move forward and love everyone, love each other, all right, if we are to do that, the contradiction is, why then do we have to let some people go? If we're supposed to love everybody and be there for everybody in our world, why are we supposed to let them go? There's a difference of letting somebody go in anger, resentment, remorse, guilt, and accusing that person of something. There is a difference in doing it that way and letting go with love, letting go with good thoughts, letting go of that person and knowing that everything's okay. Everything is the way it needs to be. There are two different ways of letting go of anything. Now, if you're anything like me, we'll talk about this in another part of our series, but letting go is not always the easiest thing for me to do because I let go, then I take it back. Then I let go, then I take it back. And as far as us all gravitating to fifth density, fifth dimension, our evolution, as far as that goes, we are not ready. But here's something that I think will inspire you. Have you ever in your life been able to recall a time that you made a huge change in your life and you weren't ready?
Roxy, that's exactly something that I went through very much so during my awakening process. During my awakening process, I was given so much information, and I saw that I guess maybe my consciousness had moved into fifth density, and I saw the things that I had to let go, but it happened to me at such a young age, I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to take that high road or to take that the non-ego completely aligned with my spiritual nature or my intuition. Now, as I've gotten older and have gone through, I guess, whether you want to call it the maturing process or the aging into wisdom process, I do find myself still holding on to certain aspects of that. I will say the positive note for this, again, the contradiction is that for me as an individual, I have the ability to alter my state at will through, from years and years of practice. So I can get myself into that fifth density consciousness. However, I still enjoy playing the 3D game. I don't want to say I enjoy it, but I find myself falling into the pattern of it every once in a while. A very good example with what you were saying. And it makes so much sense. The idea of letting go of old habits, the idea of letting go of, let's say, old acquaintances, friends, working partners, and whatnot, does present itself quite often. And it's very difficult for me once I have allowed someone into my heart, once I've allowed someone into my life, to say, oh, you know what, this just isn't working anymore, and I need to move on and surround myself with, I don't want to say like mind, because I do believe that at a certain level, all of us have that like mind, that ability to connect spiritually and intuitionally, as we had spoken about, the whole fifth density, telekinetic mental connection and emotional connection that we all have. However, it's not about that. It's not about denying that. For me, it's about how you interact with that person. Are you interacting? Do they have the ability to connect with you on that fifth density, quote unquote, level? Do they have the ability to raise the vibration of your communication to that which is empowering to each other, to that which is not always making you feel bad? A great example, I unfriended somebody yesterday on Facebook. And it is someone who has come close to my heart, someone that I feel that I had developed a friendship with over the last couple years. And we've actually met in public several times, publicly, locally several times. And I started seeing the pattern that every time we had any interaction, and again, I hate to use Facebook as an example, but Facebook is a great example where these energetic connections happen, that the only time she would come onto my page was to be negative. The only time she came onto my page was to contradict what I was saying, or to distract from the intention of what the initial discussion was that was posted, or the discussion that was being had by those already on the page. So I just started seeing the pattern. I'm like, you know what? I really like this person. I really want to be friends with them, but I just don't want to be friends with them on Facebook. So again, it was just that clarity of seeing, we don't interact well on that media platform, throughout that platform. We just don't have a great relationship there. This is not something. Now, face to face, we laugh, we giggle, we have a great time. I like to be around them on physically face to face, because there's that energetic connection, there's that emotional connection that raises it to that next level. Am I ready for fifth density? Actually, I feel I am. I feel I am. And the only reason why I say I feel I am is it's out of the frustration that the 3D creates. Now, I will say this. Now, here's my contradiction. As much as I am ready to move on and to elevate to the higher levels of consciousness, I am finding a rekindled love of life in the environment. I guess maybe because it's where I live now and the people I'm associating with. So I am finding a new rekindled connection with all people on all levels and all vibrations. So there is that contradiction. I am loving technology. I'm loving the new restaurant that opened. I'm loving the new friends I'm making. I'm loving the new interaction. But so therein lies the contradiction. Are we ready? Yeah, through practice and through the meditation processes that I have done, I feel I'm ready. But again, there's that I still want to have conflict sometimes. I still want to get angry sometimes. And we have to ask ourselves, is that a pattern programming, or is that just innately who we are on the path that we're on in this incarnation? So what do you think, Roxy? How do we wrap this all up? How do we make sense of this in 1 minute?
Well, it's all about perception. And I think that is part of us folding into our evolution. As you so eloquently stated, we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't have to give up everything we've ever lived. It's our life. It's our experience. It's all we have. It's our perception and our toolbox that gets bigger. Mm-hmm. Our perception gets bigger, our awareness gets bigger, and the tools in which we can use get bigger. And we accept that, of course, we're in contradiction, because it's the old versus the new perception.
Absolutely. Well, that's a wonderful way to wrap up the show. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this first episode of Contradiction. We will be back next week with a new episode right here on our collective YouTube channels. You can find Contradiction here on the Bernard Alvarez YouTube channel and, of course, on the Roxy Lopez Truth Denied YouTube channel. We love you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
And remember, contradiction. Life can be a contradiction, but it doesn't have to be a lie. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.